Hi, Cancer. It's your season. Happy birthday. And yesterday, I'm starting off with this. So, glass is made out of sand. I love glass. I had one of my glass water bottles, drinking it in the car though, and it chipped one of my teeth. So, welcome to Cancer season. You are on point. You are sharp. You're feeling good. Powerful, as you are, and as the season will be for everyone, but especially for you and the cardinal signs, really. And now it's when you're in the seat again, feeling good, feeling amazing, feeling like you are going with this flow, with this shifting way of life, this different thing that you were maybe used to being comfortable in a way. There's a lot of magic that can happen this month for you. Hold on one second. Magic that can happen for you. I dropped a couple cards. So I know this doesn't look like magic, though we'll get there. You're able to give things naturally to other people, to yourself, in ways that sometimes can cause chipped teeth, can even strike to the bone of others. And your season goes for it with most people, especially if you are a Cancer moon, rising, or sun. And this month, especially the rising signs, for sure, is going to show your capabilities of this growing strength and vulnerability and becoming a little bit softer in certain ways and then a little bit more harsh in other ways, which is always your season. So it all depends on, especially coming out of the eclipses. We are now being offered your energy and your strength and your ability to maneuver and be in this constant current and constantly knowing that the reins go somewhere else, and learning that after having learned that sometimes what did work won't work any further. So now it's like you're testing your own intuition, because you know that as a cardinal water sign, as a sign that wants to direct things, especially in a room where, regardless if you're the person in the center or the leader or the boss, you're still affecting the room greatly. And so this pertaining to your heart and how you feel is understanding that there's this part of you that now has learned to rely on that softer side, that the vulnerability that once was seen a certain way now is seen as strength and power, because you're able to do it and live and breathe in the world, and that is authentically who you are. There's so much that I want to relay, but I'm going to do my best to not try to get it all out. It's about what's needed now, what's needed in this month and for this direction. And I'm saying that in terms of that's for you too, because there's so much magic that can come from this month, and so much change for the better, for the necessary, for your life in general. There might be news is coming to some of you that does rock your world. And in a way that you need to see it, because the positive change from this news is that, or from this opportunity, is that it's better for you. And when you accept this role, this position, or this next phase, the thing about it is that it shifts whatever seemed to be an illusion. Because Jupiter and Neptune both going into retrograde this month. Jupiter already did. By the time you see this, Neptune will be next. They're both in Pisces. So the more that you accept the flow, and even if it's the sudden changes, and that's something that you think that you would be good at, because when you give it out to others, you don't always realize the impact that you make on them until it's all said and done. Then for you to be in your own season, absorbing this kind of medicine that you've learned to relay, is now amplified, because you're making changes like you do. And it's possible that it hasn't been comfortable the past few years with the eclipses being in your signs first, or not first, but before the set of eclipses. You understand now. You were just in the trial and error, and now you're like, okay, I know how to maneuver a little bit better. It's not to say that your weaknesses aren't going to show up. Of course they are. But the thing about you is that when you actually take those for what they are and use them to your advantage, and in a way that's not trying to carry a different responsibility just because you can, it's just authentically who you are, and that coming from that pureness of your heart. And the more that you allow yourself to show that without thinking of hiding in your shell right away after, the more strength you're going to gain. The more the ability to understand that if you are going through heartbreak, or if you are being really hit hard in the heart, where you are is exactly what's needed for whatever direction you're wanting to go in now or next, or whatever you've started. It's like a kickstart. And your season can also cause a lot of confusion for people, because they don't know what it's like to always be in that receptor feeling mode. Always being receiving and feeling, the shape that you're taking, the water that's moving throughout your body, the water, the feelings, the sensories, the stimulation go on that you're absorbing and constantly letting in and out, which is cardinal water of directing. The more that you're clear that, and you can say to yourself that whatever changes happen is necessary, as eclipse seasons tend to be. It's like, it's change that you might not have wanted to make on your own, but it's like, okay, you're telling me that this is what you want, so the universe is like expediting it. Because in your season, you want to allow yourself to shift and see the things that you may not typically want to always engage with, yet somehow those feelings linger with you, or those things, those tendencies, the memories of someone used to be, who you used to be, which is all absorbed in the water within us, through the muscles, through the connective tissues. And so when you can understand that it's your body, then how you move and how you engage even with yourself and your mind and body engage with each other, it becomes even more powerful. it's like recognizing that you are this cosmic being, that you have this alien-esqueness to you, even though you're like so motherly, and you tend to generally be known as motherly and maternal and taking on responsibility and all of these things, yet you're also this other part of you that's so alien-like, that is so able to have different kinds and layers of conversations with people and different in totally different contexts. And that's the very natural intelligence that you're wired with, and that hasn't always been, I guess, accepted or seen as something that's useful, but it's more than ever it's going to be useful. And just because of the way certain cultural norms have been. So now it's like taking your superpower and like saying like, yeah, this is extremely, extremely relevant. I know it. I can sense it. I don't need anyone else to understand or tell me that. I know what I'm doing. Everything I have done up until this point all led me to this change and this shift in focus and perspective, because there is a perspective shift that is going to happen, and it's going to be able to expand you in ways where you feel so much more connected to your, hold on one second, so much more connected to your purpose. Sorry about that. And even more connected to your healing, and I'm touching, like, I'm fidgety with my hair. Your hair is also, the Native Americans have believed that your hair is an extension of your nervous system. And normally Cancerians have very strong hair, or anyone with Cancer in your main chart, you might have very strong, like, luscious locks, like very much like a Taurus. So that's where you guys kind of connect to me sometimes. And so just like noting that your nervous system is also going through this change. There's so many different body parts that even connect with the signs. And so having your sign come in, then Jupiter going retrograde, then Mercury going direct, then Neptune going retrograde, and then Venus moves into Leo, there's so much that's going to be available to be seen and can feel like the Seven of Cups, but in reverse, it's more like you're gaining clarity. You're letting go of the illusion that you couldn't have done, or you can't do what you're set out to do, or you can't achieve something. It seems more possible in your season because there is this dreamlike romanticism that is supportive of that. But it's also being grounded, which is not hard for you. You're very grounded for the most part. In your season, you can get lost in that, but that's also where you prosper the most. So towards the end of the season, you're going to find that there's this new opening for you to set forth and speak on and relay certain endeavors that you've been wanting to try out or that you've been preparing for. It becomes a lot clearer to you. The midst of the season is where it can be a little bit, you can feel a little, sting a little. But those are those abrupt changes that will be happening or may happen. It could just be even like you really have this major realization of your healing and your self-worth and how much you've been doing it, or just like this realization, this overwhelming feeling of how you understand why certain things and even this realization, why it's so much stronger than it was maybe the last time. Because when we have realizations, they're usually like a layered version of ones we've already had. It's all about awareness and like what you're open to and the energy that you're existing in the moment that the realization happens. And you're going to take notice of that, because when you're able to do that, then the energy that you give in whatever you're pursuing or wanting to make happen or change in your life, it's not as hard. You know it's going to be vulnerable. You know how to maneuver that. Even when you don't feel like you know, in that moment, it works out. It works out. The card that just dropped. You're also going to see yourself in a way that maybe you haven't in a long time. Bottom of the deck is the Star card, which is, it's just about you being so yourself and getting back to yourself. You may not feel like yourself in the beginning, but you are. You're exuding and allowing your season to come in and do what it does. And if there is someone in the beginning of the month who offers you or hurts you, or you are, it's just not a compatible place, especially if you're, single and dating, or even if it's with a romantic partner, that can be resolved if you allow your guys' self space to come back and see why that maybe needed to happen. There's a shift that happens in certain aspects of your relationships in your life where things can be really healed, especially if you've had issues with maybe people who you kept close to your heart, or in the past, 7 months, and even 6 months ago, where you feel like if there needs to be something to be said, wait until you're ready and feel very capable and confident and receptive, because in your season, both sides can be seen different ways, can be tended to, and heal the thing that really is necessary to nurture both your personal life, but anywhere else you're trying to grow. It will just trickle into every aspect, which, as it does. And then when you get to the moment with your nerves, and with this shift and this change for the better, for the positive, and even if your life is going great and you're like, wait, but I'm doing great, I feel great, everything's working out, yeah, it's gonna keep going in that direction. And the Saturn retrograde and the moon, by the time your new moon comes around, I think it's on the 9th, my note's over there, I think it's on the 9th of July, but the new moon in Cancer is going to reveal to you and wash away anything that's left over of not being who you really are in this time, because so much moth to a flame. You're going to bring so much in, and there's going to be so much fruition through this turning. And yeah, I'm really excited for this season for you, because I love you, because you have this innate power that just affects people in a way that travels. It does. It's beautiful. And we'll take a look at the cards, and then I'll do the extended, which goes through and gets more clear about the spread for the month, and maybe even probably more into August even. So this is your July reading. Link below to work with me one-on-one for the Patreon extended link, and in the future I'll put more on Patreon, more to come, and my Instagram link as well. Yeah. The first week, just go into it, let it flow in, and we'll see you next month. Happy birthday. Hi, Cancer. So, if some of you Cancers are coming to this season with very straightforward intentions, very clear about what you're no longer accepting, And it's because of the pain and the heartbreak of whatever you associate with this Page of Cups, whoever or whatever situation that is. It's also showing you how that whatever you've learned from this and whatever you've gained, because through pain we gain and we learn, and through whatever has happened, you've learned that moving forward is so different and it feels so life-changing. That actually what happens is whatever someone either brings to your attention or it's just been brought to your attention very swiftly and quickly, this change happens in the first few weeks. And it feels big because it's a part of you that knows that when things shift and you know which direction you want to go and you know where you know that you trust your intuition more than anything, and wherever you're going, you're gonna go and you're gonna get somewhere. You are already getting somewhere because you're clearing through this change and through whatever you're accepting and taking for what it is, and which is only to help you even more. There's so much more that is then able to come to you and be offered to you. And it's because of the just life and ups and downs and what you already feel, on top of, again, that sensitivity, that stimulation, that over excessive amount of whatever it was that wasn't working. Now, oh, and also sorry about the noise earlier. It's my air conditioner. I believe you can hear it though. Yeah, so, and if you can't, obviously tell me. So this huge opening allows for you to see. It's like the days when I know Neptune is shifting, it feels like hazy. There's this shift. So and there's like those dream state like days that can be foggy, but sometimes aren't always. It happens when it's sunny out too. But like it's like this dream-like state that you're in, because when these things start changing and turning into even more positive opportunities that you've wanted to set in motion, it becomes clear to you where you come from, where you want to speak from, and how you want to say things, even to yourself. So it's like this very much Cancerian month for you, where it's so personal that it affects everything else in your life in a way that by the end brings you back to a part of yourself that maybe hadn't been around for a while. It's this part of you that needed to know that maturity looks different depending on what you're doing and what the situation is, and that things move quicker, bottom of the deck, quicker towards the stability, what you want, what you set up for yourself, and also this magic that happens this month if you allow it. It's so quick to change. It's just like so in the mystery. It's so you. If there is, you'll pick up really quickly on shady offers, because you're in a place where when you are hurt and when you are vulnerable, you actually see things a little more clearer. You may not see them specifically about what you're vulnerable about, but you'll see things clear, like when things try to come into you or come towards you, meaning like an opportunity or a love interest. You'll know right out the gate if it's bullshit or not. You'll know if you want to entertain it. You'll know if it's just even worth your time. It's not just, you just don't care. Like either way, like you are like talking to people, love doing all of that and connecting. It's just that you don't have the capacity right now. And that's another thing that I wanted to bring up in this part, is that this is about, so of course people are going to need you and want you and be drawn to you even more because of this. And now you have a little bit more freedom and you feel more inclined to say no to certain things, knowing your bandwidth right now. Because there's a focus here. And this also relates to Pisces, and this also relates to the Saturn retrograde. So there's this Jupiter in retrograde in Pisces, and then Neptune will be going this will be out, and then Neptune will go into retrograde as well, and they're both in Pisces. So these retrogrades are really helpful for you. Retrogrades are not always like hard. They're just sometimes, and if you're in the specific place, it's exactly what you need to hear in the time you need to hear it, because you can receive it. You can be receptive to it. It's like being receptive to your love. It's, you have a love that is, you know, all-encompassing. And when you find that within yourself, that pure, that more innocent, yet so magnetic nature, which Cancer is, then by the end of this month, like, there's going to be so much that gets drawn to you. People that get drawn to you. If there is a Pisces or Aquarius in your life, they're very, it's probably a really good thing. It seems like lots of cohesiveness there. An ability to be very direct, clear, and yet no misunderstandings. Retrogrades can be good for that too. But Mercury retrograde was very impactful for you, especially being in Gemini. So things are going to move very quickly after the turn of events from Cancer season to Leo season, but also just the more that you get in touch with the side of yourself that you just were kind of far from for a minute, and it has to do with this heartbreak, this person or this situation that was really not good for you at all. But now you're seeing what it taught you. You're seeing that things are changing. You're seeing that you're a different person because of it. And not that you needed to change, but you're different in a way that by the end of the month, you're like, yeah, damn. This is great. I love this. Where have you been? And it's possible these people also bring that out in you, and these bring this out in you more, where you then understand and are no longer able to hold on too much to where the magic is put. Then it just starts to happen, and you're just like over and over again, like, whoa, 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 whoa. And yet it's who you are. It's a part of you. Okay. So we'll get clear into this in the extended reading on Patreon. More things will be put up on Patreon as well. If you want to work with me one-on-one, that's below, like I said earlier. And I will see you next month. Cancer, happy birthday.